welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It is time for our first ever Esports Tower Overwatch Rumble. First time we get to see the Esports Tower Overwatch clubs in action. And we are looking forward to some exciting gameplay tonight. On tonight's show, we'll have some select matches from our round robin group stage, and then we'll see who takes it all home in our grand finals at the end of the night, and who will be crowned the first ever Overwatch Rumble champion. It's about time to find out. I'm your host, Michael Fisher. Joining me to call all of the action is Brenner Bear Ladd. And Brenner, I think one of the interesting things about this tournament that is something that I've had a lot of discussions with people about is the round robin games are just a best of one. So it really is going to put a lot of emphasis on specific maps in particular. Is there a certain mode that you think a best of one maybe favors a team, or do you think, there's just kind of, we'll see what happens? Because I think playing only one control map and then no escort, no hybrid is going to be a lot different than, we have control, then we have escort. I mean, what do you think of the best of one format for our round robin stage?
I mean, it's definitely more of the quick play format to get teams through it, to have kind of these one-night tournaments to get through it, get to that grand finale, which is more of a best of five, so the two teams actually have a proper matchup. So it's definitely on the players to just come at it, have those great warm-ups, so when they get into this best of one, they have it all, they're ready, they're warmed up, and they're hopefully going to make it to the grand finals. And definitely with the best of one being on control, having at least the best control be a best of three is the best way to do it.
Yeah, we will see all sorts of maps. It is a 4-team round robin. The way I've been told is will work. All of the round 1 games will be on control, as Brenner mentioned. All of the round 2 games will be on escort, and then all of the round 3 games will be on assault, and that will all lead us to our best of 5 in those finals, which is the more standard. Though assault is third, and I love how tournaments always have to mix up the assault hybrid escort order. And at least we'll get to see some assault. I know some players love that, some players don't. But we see here is the breakdown. Round robin, one group, best of one. All that determines the seeding for the finals. Top 2 teams from group play battle it out for our first ever Overwatch championship. First week of the competition, Overwatch clubs have been around for a while. The players have been eagerly waiting for their opportunity to compete in this Rumble. They are ready to show off tonight. Some of these rosters have been training together for a long time. They've gone outside of Esports Tower to compete and seen a lot of success. Their coaching staff has said they are already getting more and more interest for coming Rumbles. So this is just the start. Well, as we get ready to go, let's throw it over to Doc's Keys to the Game, presented by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com and see what Doc has to say for these players, and that is understand your comp and play style, focus on each fight, get good ult value, and the objective always more important than the kills. You do not want to pull a C9 just trying to pad your stats. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You can match with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. We're ready for our first map. It'll be the Esports Tower Everest taking on the Esports Tower Fire Islands. We're kicking things off on Lijiang Tower, Brenner. So what do these teams got to be ready for on our first control map?
Yeah, we know Boise State loves playing on Lijiang Tower, so going into it, depending whatever of the 3 maps it is, we're going to see a lot of Symmetra play, as she is the favored DPS for this map, possibly some even Doomfist, some more high mobility. We're going to see a lot of Lucios, a lot of Reinhardts as well to get those pushes, probably a couple Divas as well, because everyone loves eating as many ults as possible. So I definitely look forward to these more divey, maybe even double bubble high mobility teams for Lijiang.
Yeah, I think the Symmetra call, as you mentioned, is probably the one to watch out for the most. That is going to be where our focus is on those players, because Symmetra has so much value on all of the Lijiang Tower maps. Whoever gets the first teleporter down almost always will win the first fight, and there's always talk about whoever wins the first fight. I think it's like 60% favored to win the map on control, so we will kick things off. It'll be the Everest in the blue, Fire Islands in the red. Both these teams want to win the first game of the Overwatch Rumble. Let's see who will take it home here as we kick things off. We see that the Everest right now taking quite a lot of damage. Pando going to be taken out, but so is Radius Boss. It's a 2-for-2. It's a 4-on-4 on the point. But there's the Symmetra value you talked about, Brenner, with a nice double kill.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Symmetra is the key player, and the Everett's not having her is quite interesting, as they went nearly full dive comp here for this control, and not winning the point is not what you want to see for a dive comp, because you have to call your target and be able to jump right on top of them. And with Shatter and both the wall being so close on lot, and I'm curious to see how these Everett players are going to retake the point.
Started off with a great pick onto Shadow Soul and Frozen Phoenix. GNR will go down as well. Who needs a Symmetra when you get a team kill thanks to Diamond Dog?
Yeah, he's going to have that Primal Rage coming up for this next fight, and He did exactly what I said you need to do in the dive. You call your target and the monkey jumps on and you follow him behind. So the Everetts definitely had that team cohesion to just dive right in. And now with both Nano boost as well as the pulse bomb coming online for the Everett, it's Fire Islands is definitely going to have to hide behind their Reinhardt for that shield. Same with the Sig, at least going to be able to have that double barrier push up. Not with the Orisa, but definitely has the better variety and going instantly right in with the Primal Rage.
Oh, Diamond Dog almost gets booped off. Does look like Doomfist going to save that Nano for Bonesaw's Blade. Might not even need it though. Immortality has to be used by Shadow Soul. It's not going to keep the team alive though. 4 go down. It's going to be another team kill for the Everest, and they are in complete control.
So seems like after this next team fight, Fire Islands are going to have to use those ults and change up the team comp here, unless the ults make all the difference, because the Everetts also have 3 of their own, almost 4, with the Nano Blade coming online. Things are not looking good for the Everetts as they are looking good for the Fire Islands, as they don't even have Drop the Beat ready for this Nano Blade coming in, but they do have the Amplification Matrix to try to burn him down as quickly as possible.
Radius Boss probably going to have to look to maybe catch Bonesaw out of position. There's the Nano Blade from Bonesaw on the back line. He immediately takes down Shadow Soul, but Radius Boss does get one, but that Genji going absolutely wild, picks up a quad. It's Man who's still left alive, but he's going to look for a reset and he'll get taken out.
Yeah, we want to see some comp switches here for the Fire Islands, and we are with the Reinhardt swapping over to the Wrecking Ball. Same with Lucky hovering the Mega, going back to the Symmetra, so losing that little bit of ult percentage they had built up. But now with ults on their favor, they have to use them in order to get, and they're going to go for the teleporter play once again.
Sound Barrier immediately. Gravitic Flux going to be used as well as an Ant Matrix. All of that just to lose Radius Boss. GNR going to go down as well, as we see Fum here on a 15-player kill streak. Fire Islands use all of their ults except the Deadeye, and it does not matter. The Everest will come away victorious here on map number 1 on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, that McCree was not getting enough value there. Even against the Tracer, we did not see a lot of those flashbang one-click headshots onto the Tracer, so he should have swapped off to a different DPS. But going into round 2, hopefully they learn their lesson and will be able to have a bit more flexible comp if this Symmetra does not work out on this next map.
Probably the Lijiang map that has the most emphasis on good Symmetra play. Looking through those 2 windows right behind the entrance there, as you can see him on our camera work. That's where your Symmetra turrets are probably going to go down, Brenner. Whoever gets there first is going to have a great setup on the point.
Yeah, they could even try to go balls to the wall and just go for that Bastion as well to just rain as much fire down onto the point if they are not able to win that fight for the second engagement. But jumping into this, we are going to see a Bastion on one of the sides with the Symmetra as well. So will the opposite team match up?
It's going to be the double Symmetra, the double teleport. Looks like the comp's almost all standard, though there is a Bastion on the side of the Everest, but it's Despacito who's popping off. The Symmetra's making a name for themselves. They will wipe the floor with Fire Islands and send them back to spawn.
Yeah, the Everetts definitely have that team play you want to see in this tournament, especially for the first round. They were definitely the warmed up team from what we can tell, and there's Symmetra proving that she is the better one in these duels. No one on the Fire Islands was able to get a good charge on their ultimate. The Symmetra and Baptiste tried their best, but now with Bonesaw on this Bastion set up on the top point, I don't think the Fire Islands know he's there.
Fire Islands, unfortunately, they're line of sighting him, but I think you're right, Brenner. Nobody knows he's there. He gets a great pick, even has a teleporter created so he can maybe hop around a little bit if he needs to reposition. But it looks like the rest of the Fire Islands are going to get wiped out once again, and the Everest absolutely dominating here on this second map.
Yeah, it seems the Bastion and Symmetra were definitely the better DPS players so far, as the Diva not even able to make it back to spawn with her mech and tech, so she's going to have to suicide to go for the reset. So the Fire Islands losing even more valuable time and have yet to even cap the point as they won the first fight last map.
Radius Boss there, trying to spam out, worried that there's a member of the Everest around any corner, but see here, the Everest are all just hanging out on the point, building that over to 52, now 54%. Couple of fights left for the Fire Islands. If they can't win it here, we'll see what Bonesaw and the Bastion can do with that high ground advantage from the Symmetra teleporter. taking this Symmetra. The only ults up are that Photon Barrier and an Amp Matrix from both Baptiste, but it's not going to matter. Photon Barrier will go down. There's both Amp Matrix, at least one going to use from not Doomfist there. Bonesaw will pop the tank form. He's going to pick up a kill. Fum will get another one. 3 ults used, and it gets the Fire Islands their last fight.
Yeah, they had that ult advantage going into the fight, and they definitely utilized it. Even with the Fire Islands going for the DPS swap, they're going to have the Double Dragon coming online for this final fight, but they're going to have to go straight for the point. Even with the Amplification Matrix, Shatter is just a bit far out unless he's able to farm it with a single Flame Strike. It is all on the Fire Islands to dive right on the point. They even have the Lucio speed boost, and they're going to use the Sound Barrier.
Luckenshoe going to run right into Diamond Dog Shatter. The Everests are going to go 3 for 1 here. GNR looking for the Hail Mary Shatter, not going to find it. Frozen Phoenix maybe looking for the YOLO Diva Bomb of a lifetime, but it will get blocked. Despacito will go down, but that's not going to matter. And the Everests will pick up this win here in our first game in this best of 1. Great job by the Everests. Pretty dominating performance overall, Brenner, and so far it has been a great start. Well, don't forget, Boise State Esports always looking for talented players, but also in terms of the Esports Tower, going at it alone can only get you so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chance of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We saw that from the Everests. I thought they played very well together after that first fight on Lijiang Tower. This team is incredibly talented. I want to give a shout out to all the coaches. If you're watching, haven't checked out Esports Tower clubs yet, you should. It is the fast track to rank up. And Brenner, I mean, your thoughts on a pretty dominant first map win for the Everests in our first ever Overwatch Rumble?
Yeah, it was definitely the best showing you could have in a best of 1 map. They rarely lost a team fight. They only lost the first team fight of the first control map, if I remember correctly, and they instantly knew how to just dismantle the Fire Islands. And the Fire Islands never got really their team cohesion back in order to re-push it. And when they did push it as a team, they were simply just dismantled and not having that flexibility to swap off those heroes that they needed to sooner.
Well, we will take a quick break, and we'll come back with the other 2 teams participating in this week's Overwatch Rumble. It will be the Pink Panthers taking on LaSalle College High. That is all coming up next here on the Boise State channel. Don't go anywhere. We've got more Overwatch Rumble right after this break. Welcome back into this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble, our first ever Overwatch version of the Rumble, broadcasting it live from the Boise State Gay Pants Esports Arena. And up next, we're going to take a look at the other 2 teams in this week's Rumble. It will be the Pink Panthers taking on LaSalle College High. LaSalle, who we've seen in our Rocket League Rumbles. Curious to see how their Overwatch team will do. I've been told they're using this as a warm-up for their high school season. Meanwhile, the Pink Panthers see what they could do. Still on control, still Fisher Brenner here, call it all of the action. Brenner, we will now be going to Nepal, so a little bit of a different map style. Definitely has that open area on some of them right in the middle of the map that can allow for some environmental kills, so which we'd expect for both these teams on Nepal for our last round 1 game.
Hopefully, if we have that shrine map, we're going to see a couple environmental kills as it is right next to the control point. Whereas if we go to something like the other 2 Nepal maps, there's not as much opportunity for those environmental kills, so it's going to be all about that team brawling. We saw it really successful with the Everest on that dive comp, whereas for the Fire Islands, they went more of a traditional, more brawly style without the Zarya. So I hope going into these Nepals, we see that come alive. We could also see a couple snipers come into the play. We saw Fire Islands attempt the Hanzo on that last Lijiang Tower map, so I would not be surprised if we saw the repeat of either that Hanzo, the Ashe, or the Widow. Most likely, the Ashe, as her Dynamite, gets that AoE damage that you need on a control point.
Well, before we hop into this, we do want to take a moment to congratulate all of the Esports Tower Club members who have graduated from the clubs and been offered scholarships across the country over the last 3 months. Esports Tower Club members have received over $1.2 million in scholarships awards. These students have not only worked hard on their in-game play, but have worked hard academically as well and have earned these scholarship opportunities. Couldn't be more excited and proud to see all the opportunities those players are getting, and can't wait to see the potential opportunities that these players are going to be getting, because we have seen some very talented players in our first match. We will continue that along. Before we hop into Nepal, though, let's give a reminder to the Pink Panthers and LaSalle we have not seen tonight about Doc's keys to the game as presented by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com, and those are: understand your comp and play style, focus on each fight, get good ult value, and objectives are more important than kills, though in control, usually those 2 go hand in hand. Well, it's brought to you by the Esports Tower. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You can match with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. It is going to be LaSalle College High taking on the Pink Panthers. They're on the paper, the Pink Panthers are one of the strongest teams in this Rumble, but LaSalle has a great high school program. Could challenge them here, so let's hop into the game and see who comes out on top. Going to be very curious to see how our two non-esports tower teams perform, because the Everest especially looked very strong on our first map, Brennan.
Yeah, they were fantastic on the first map. They only ever lost that very first team map, but they instantly got their tempo in and perfectly just rolled over the Fire Island. So heading into two non-esports tower teams, I'm very curious how they perform, because as you mentioned, their Rocket League team did very well.
We have been told that half the Pink Panthers players used to train with the esports tower clubs. They've continued to play outside of that and have a lot of experience as a team. So even though they aren't affiliated, they were definitely former esports tower players. Meanwhile, as we said, LaSalle, not a lot of tournament experience, a newer team, but they're just looking to get some experience in these rumbles before their high school Overwatch season will start out. Here we go on Nepal, Pink Panthers and LaSalle College High. Last game of our round one group stage round robin here. Best of one on control. The Farah for the team in blue. Going to be a very interesting one as Edgelord will immediately get taken out. The Pharmacy gets clipped before their wings can even get off the ground, and the Pink Panthers already off to a bit of a slow start.
Yeah, slow indeed. That Pharmacy got taken out by that Wrecking Ball, along with the Sombra helping him out. We saw right on the edge. So already we're going to see the swap off of it over to that McCree, as well as with the Sol bringing out the Zenyatta and Zarya. So it looks like they're definitely going for that hard brawl comp. I would love to see a Reaper as well, with that Tracer falling solo but able to escape. Also, Pink Panthers having swapped off that Pharmacy, I want to see a swap off that Mercy, as she's not going to get as much value as some of the other healers.
They're going to have to use that to try and boost Tropic, as Edgelord gets a great pick onto Blade on Gambler over in the corner, trying to provide as much damage to LaSalle as possible, but the rest of the team is going down. Pulse Bomb there from AME, only going to take that little Applesauce's immortality field, but then AMS will get the kill there. Looking to make some great Tracer value. They do kill the Mercy, but not before the res goes off. AME gets some great value. The Sol in these solo plays, Brenner, is doing well. They just haven't been able to get any team fights. We'll see if that changes now, as Getchio is going to be taken out. Bladon takes out Edgelord. It's two already. Little Applesauce hit by the Anti, gets punched down, and LaSalle with a great turnaround here to win this fight and get the point back.
Yeah, Pink Panthers brawled on the point the best they could, but having an Ashe fight on point is not what you want to see from an Ashe, no less. She is a sniper. You want to hold her a bit further back and able to get that dynamite value without setting yourself on fire. And sticking with that Mercy, they were able to get the res off, but she was eliminated immediately afterwards, so that is not the value you want to see. But Valkyrie is coming online for her, so we will see if that will make the difference. Same with Whole Hog. Hopefully a couple environmental kills going to come out from that as he tries to go underneath, and a great hook landing onto that Zenyatta.
Lyric gets taken out, had the Transcendence available as well. There is the Whole Hog that is going to be used, just trying to get as much damage across the map. The thrower will get taken out, and for all of those plays for the Pink Panthers, they still aren't able to capture the point there. We do hear a grab go off from Bladon. Look at Gambler over in the corner, doing a fantastic job here stopping that push.
Yeah, Gambler's been uncontested on that sidebar. The Roadhog has not yet noticed that he can just hook her and throw her into the pit. So Pink Panthers definitely need to start contesting that right side of their spawn, with AME opening up with that Pulse Bomb along with that Transcendence.
Edgelord and Getchio going to be both taken out. AME and Bladon just pushing into the spawn. Once again, the res comes out from the Mercy, but that is not going to be enough, as the Photon Barrier will come down, and I'm not sure that the Pink Panthers are going to be able to get out of their spawn.
Yeah, Pink Panthers definitely being the dominating force on this first map, using as many ults as they can in Pink Panthers spawn. Not what you want to see in your first match in this Esports Tower Rumble.
Fantastic victory there. We'll see what they could do on our second control map on Nepal. I mean, it was back and forth for a while there, Brenner, but then eventually LaSalle just kind of started dominating.
Yeah, dominating is definitely an understatement there when you're ulting in front of your enemy's spawn so that they can't leave the ship. We even saw that Symmetra throwing turrets into their spawn. That won't even do damage to them, but it's at that point just a flex, it seems. So going into this map, you're not going to have that environmental Whole Hog, so I would be very surprised if we did not see a Roadhog this time around. And from that early sneak peek, we did see an Orisa, so they might have swapped off that. But this time it looks like we're going to have the Wrecking Ball going right up, same with that Tracer and Winston, so possibly a dive comp from the side of LaSalle. But Pink Panthers holding up in that doorway is not what you want to see with that Immortality Field, keeping so many members alive.
They'll take a ton of damage, but they do end up recovering. But now a huge 3-man ante lands from Gambler, who has been playing spectacular on this Ana, and it leads to a triple kill for Lyric of all people. And just like that, the Pink Panthers get team killed, and LaSalle should be able to start on the point.
Haven't even touched it, and they're getting a team kill this early on. This has definitely so far been a kind of quick play match with everyone going up top. There are other routes, Pink Panthers. You gotta start using that flexibility, already opening up where the entire LaSalle team is ready and waiting for you.
See what they can do this time. They're going to, as you mentioned, go right to the safe spot. They are going to get a minefield drop either behind them. I didn't quite see. It looks like Bladon did drop it behind them as he does pick up a kill onto the Mercy, but does get taken out. So it's an overall 1-for-1 trade. But as they walk backwards into the minefield, there we see the 5 IQ, the 5D chess play for Bladon. It's a quad kill from the grave.
Yeah, LaSalle definitely proving that they are the better team as of right now, with Pink Panthers only having the one amplification matrix online for them, with LaSalle already using that minefield, now having Pulse Bomb, Nano Boost coming online, same with that Primal Rage. Seems Lyric also used that Transcendence after getting that triple kill, now back at 35%. LaSalle is charging and farming these ults off the Pink Panthers.
Nano is going to go out on to Wet Tam, see what he can do. Has that Primal Rage available, but who needs it? A 4-man Pulse Bomb. As you mentioned, Brenner, they've got to find a different way to attack the point because they are just getting sandwiched, and that time they walked into a Pulse Bomb from AME.
Yeah, being a broken record, this is broke. You need to fix it because they're just losing. And once again, LaSalle is just pushing into poor Pink Panther's spawn with the Primal Rage, and he is finally gonna fall. Pink Panthers, you need to start committing these ults to try to get on point and choose a different direction.
Edgelord getting some nice mobility there on the Junkrat. We do get the revive out onto Geo as well, so an elimination onto Bladon, maybe. Pink Panthers can finally push through on the point. They take out AME as well. It's a great start here. It's a 6v4 for the Pink Panthers. We'll see what they can do. Immortality Field, though, barely keeping that Orisa alive. The rest of the team hanging out. Edgelord going to get caught in the hook. Immediately, though, Geo going to jump onto the point. The Photon Barrier is down, but it's not enough to keep Symmetra alive. Thrower picks up a double kill. LaSalle right now trying to barely hold on to their advantage. Pink Panthers have not been able to flip the point. The Valkyrie from Leopold is going to be used to give them some aerial advantages and try and keep them off the ground, but as soon as they land, it's Gambler will pick up the kill, and a nice push from the Pink Panthers will eventually result in nothing.
Yeah, with this ult usage coming out from Pink Panthers, I would love to see some hero swaps here off that Orisa and Mercy to something more mobile or even tanky for that matter to try to protect this team better. The tire attempt from Edgelord is able to pick up Lyric, all while the Reaper is able to pick off AME in the background, but not controlling the point. LaSalle takes it.
Dominant victory there by LaSalle over the Pink Panthers. Well, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured Rumbles, recruiters are taking notice as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro, or if you're looking to land a collegiate scholarship. One more game here to take a look at in the group stage before we go to the grand finals. We are going to switch away from Control. I do believe we'll be going over to Escort now, Brenner. And how do you approach Escort? Because never for most of these Overwatch players, when you're in a tournament setting, is Escort sort of like a best of one. You've either just known you've lost Control or, the series is kind of already along. So how do you handle Escort now when it's basically its own map as opposed to part of a series?
I think that's definitely something that we want to address, like Doc's Keys to the Game. They say objective is more important than the kills. On Escort, it's definitely they're equal because you don't want to take constant damage as you're pushing the cart. You want to take that space so you have area to push the cart from behind. You're always going to be a member down, so your team play has to be so key on that cart, because if your front line falls, you're going to lose a 6, and now you're being stalled out from that 6-man. So being a best of 1, this is definitely going to be detrimental for whoever team gets stalled out unless they're able to regroup, but then they're losing that precious time. So being a best of 1 format, it is not the best.
Well, before we hop into this with LaSalle and the Fire Islands both looking for their first wins, it's never a bad time to go revisit Doc's keys to the game as presented by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com, because I know, Brenner, you were talking about the objectives greater than kills. You said they're equal. I do think, though, at the end of the day, it's better to push the objective, especially attacking-wise. You're kind of right, but you have to be on the objective. You can't just be hunting kills. We've seen that in the past where teams are like, oh, I'm going to go get this triple kill, and then the game ends in overtime because you weren't on the point. You don't want to pull a C9.
Yeah, no one ever wants to pull a C9, and that especially is going to happen the most on Escort. You push forward, you get a team kill, it's in overtime, no one's on cart, game's over. The team who just got team wiped, they win. So objective is always something you got to keep in mind. We see in a lot of pro plays, they only leave, the one member on the cart. So even in that team fight that's happening away from objective, it's a 5v6. So the attacking team is always going to be at that disadvantage as if they're playing away from the cart. So that's why we see strats like Pirate Ship come out with the Bastion on the cart. So if the entire team's on the cart, you're not getting a ton of value because you can only have a max of 3 for the max speed. But you're going to have that team cohesion on the attackers that if a team fight does happen, you're not going to get taken out one by one because you're so pushed forward far up.
Well, let's start over now to Doc's keys of the game. Remind these teams what they need to do to pick up their first victory in the group play stage. That is, understand your comp and play style. We talked about that pirate chip potentially. Focus on each fight. Get good alt value and objectives greater than kills, maybe equal than kills. But at the end of the day, it's the objective that wins the game, not your KD. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You can match with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. It's all at esportstower.com. Final group stage match of the night. LaSalle College and the Fire Islands. Both teams dropped games in round 1 that we saw, but are looking to bounce back right here. We'll see who can bounce back and put a win on the board as we get closer and closer to our grand finals. Should be Fire Islands in the blue, LaSalle in the red, and we'll be going to Dorado, which is a map that can be very hard to get out of that first chokehold on when you're pushing.
Yeah, that archway is life or death a lot of the time. This is a very vertically challenged map. We're going to see a lot of vertical play from both these teams, as we've seen in pro play. If you have good verticality plays on this map, they will never be able to push that cart, as they're just going to having to look up, down, left, right all the time, trying to keep track of you as you're constantly dealing damage. So it looks like on the red, they're immediately going to start with that Hanzo, Roadhog, and Zarya. So they're not having a strong frontline tank, but they're going for the damage, it seems. So LaSalle definitely going for those eliminations, whereas Fire Islands went with the Brig Line with the Mei, a more traditional defense comp here. So I expect some great team fights coming out from both sides, as so far this Ryan and Hanzo have been charging their ults faster than anyone else.
Very curious to see what Leopold can do on LaSalle. Going to be grounded there, but should be able to boost up the Ash. Thrower gets antied. A great job there by Shadow Soul, but unfortunately they'll trade tank for tank as GNR will go down. Edgelord barely hanging on, but Radius Boss able to get a fantastic pick there. Leopold looking maybe for the res, not quite able to get it, taking a ton of poke damage, and it looks like LaSalle is going to be forced to reset here, and this is going to be so hard to get around this choke point to keep pushing the cart.
Yeah, already we're seeing a ton of signs of life from Fire Islands. They were able to contest that res and immediately get her off of it. Getting that 30-second cooldown is terrible. Already opening up with that Mercy, even a bit of lag with so much damage coming out from the side of Fire Islands. But they are going to end up losing man-can-man on that break.
Fire Islands right now doing a fantastic job. Thrower will be forced to swap over to the Reinhardt. Look at Geo, though. This shield this boost from the Zarya has really never been below 85. Now slowly dropping off. He doesn't really have a teammate taking damage, but he's going to get a kill right back to 100. Leopold will get the res, though, on the little applesauce. Unfortunately, a grab's going to come out from Geo, but it's not going to be enough. A fantastic Blizzard, but a triple Dragon Strike from Edgelord is going to even this at 3 kills aside, and the respawn advantage should favor LaSalle pushing. They finally should be able to break this Fire Islands defense.
Seems LaSalle with this Zarya has just been uncontested all game. She's been alive longer than anyone else, and even with the Mercy elimination onto the main with that last hit, this Zarya is having a field day, getting damage boosted by the Mercy, no less. Seems that they are playing around a Zarya, no less, and we're even going to see the swap over to the Reaper as well, losing that little bit of ult percentage, but they're going to open up this team fight with a rally.
Man not able to keep Frozen Phoenix. As soon as the Rhine goes down, it's a triple shatter for Thrower. Radius, Boss, Shadow, Soul, and Man all hit by the shatter, all get taken out. Frozen Phoenix alive but running from respawn, and LaSalle College will get our first point of the night on Escort.
Yeah, there was a solid attempt from that break with that rally to try to just hold them back from pushing the car, but she triggered it a bit too early. Same with that Blizzard, now no longer there with the swap from that Reaper. Seems like LaSalle with these ults, having Bob come online. Same with the Valkyrie is online, and with the grab close behind, I would be very surprised if we did not see a Wombo combo come out with the Bob and grab. But with Fire Islands taking this high ground with no sniper in sight other than this McCree with the little poke damage he can do, Fire Islands is going to open up with their own grab.
Grab going to be used. GNR will jump right on top of them, but unfortunately a fantastic immortality field for Little Applesauce keeps LaSalle College High alive and well. Man and Frozen Phoenix both taken out. A shatter from Thrower's going to take down Lukachu, and with Bob in on the fight, LaSalle eats a grab and just keeps on pushing.
Yeah, LaSalle's got that momentum rolling. It's almost like we're watching Assault with the snowball that they've had ever since they won that team fight on the first checkpoint of this Dorado. So they're just going to keep pushing the best they can. They have those 4 members, as I mentioned. They're sticking close on this cart is what you want to see. And now with the triple ult advantage to Fire Island's 1 shatter with Deadeye close behind Laku once again swapping DPS, losing constant ult percentage, is finally able to pick one up onto Tropics. So taking away that Bob, not allowing any ult to be farmed to get him back.
Look at the amount of charges Zarya for LaSalle has had. It is always above 90 anytime we've gotten that first-person view. They have that grab available for Kajio. We'll see if they want to drop it. They are going to immediately use it, but a nice 2-man shatter is going to counter that. Edgelord nearly taken out. And Genji will eventually fall. The immortality field not going to be enough, but they'll trade it 1 for 1. But with these close respawns, it's going to be very hard. A great snipe from Frozen Phoenix denies a res from Leopold. As we get the rally into the Amp Matrix, both supports popping their ult to try and keep their teams alive. And it looks like LaSalle finally going to get forced back here. A nice defensive hold for the moment here for the Fire Islands.
Yeah, that rally was much better timed this time around, a bit more closer to the mid-fight, keeping that Rhine alive. Frozen doing fantastic to hold this front line, even gets the Flame Strike kill onto Thrower after he committed that shatter and was not able to land it on any members of Fire Island. Now we're going to see Lucky Chu change DPS again. Now onto the Soldier, with Radius still holding onto this Deadeye with Leo holding onto that Valkyrie and Genjo holding onto that grab. I would very much anticipate to see the Blade and grab combo come out. We aren't going to see the Nano. And like I said, it's clockwork.
Very curious how Edgelord was going to be able to use this Blade without the Nano from the Ana that we usually see with a Genji. But as you mentioned, Brenner, and as you called, the grab Blade allows LaSalle to 3-cap here, 2:14 on the clock, and a pretty efficient job by them once they got through that first chokehold of really not being slowed down.
Yeah, they held that fantastically. As soon as they made that team comp swamp, didn't have that Roadhog, they regrouped, and Genjo on this Zarya has just been uncontested. Fire Island is feeding them charge again and again.
Yeah.
Like you keep mentioning, every time we go to them, they're at least at 80%, even being damage boosted by the Mercy. They definitely have been the star player for LaSalle so far.
Yeah, that's the one thing Fire Islands has got to work on, and especially is you cannot shoot whoever has the Zarya shield. They are just feeding her charge. Never really saw her below 80 for Gajio, so if you're the Fire Islands, you got to realize you cannot shoot whoever the Zarya shield's on. Maybe you bait it onto his support and you focus the other one because you can only shield one person at a time. But right now, Gajio is doing a great job predicting damage, and that's why LaSalle had a nice 3-0 start on Dorado. We'll see how they can hold defensively, because this can be a very hard choke point to pass through, because even LaSalle struggled to get through this choke point right here as our camera flies past it, and after that, it was pretty much smooth sailing.
Yeah, Fire Islands did not utilize that high ground on the defense very much. They immediately dropped down to the other side of the archway, and it just became an instant brawl. So now on the attack, they're going to bring out their own Widow. So we'll see how long Lucky Chu decides to stick on this DPS and swap off of it. DPS need to get their ults as they're the playmakers. So swapping off DPS so often is not what you want to see, even if it is to counter a specific member. And then very early elimination onto Radius is going to get res, so that 30-second cooldown is already being burned.
Very cheeky strategy by Edgelord. He basically planted all of his Junkrat utility right out of the spawn, and then it got damage boosted by Leopold. As we now see Lukachu on that Widow, trying to get a headshot onto somebody. Oh, Tropics is almost dead. Edgelord getting another great elimination onto Radius Boss, and that's going to allow a reset here, and LaSalle College is pushing their advantage, getting great picks.
Yeah, it seems that they're much more aggressive on this defense than Fire Islands were, and now already swapped off Lucky Chu now on the Echo, but with this Mercy, it might get a bit more value, but going against Tropics on this Ultra 76 could be a problem, especially unless this Zarya has the bubble on them to keep them alive. And already we're going to see Radius take out Tropics, but the res is going to come and bring him back.
Lukachu very low. Somehow Tropics not punished by that res, but the cart slowly pushing. Flame Strike from Thrower going to miss. He'll put up the shield, just trying to take care of that Junkrat trapped as Radius Boss will get taken out again. A great job by the healers for LaSalle College High, keeping Thrower alive through all of this damage and forcing yet another reset. GNR and Frozen Phoenix both incredibly low. Radius Boss trying to jump up, get the high ground, spam in the damage on LaSalle, but none of those mines are going to be able to land, and they'll get a revive onto GNR, keep us in a 6v6 for the time being. Couple ults still online. Winston's going to hop right in, trying to build for that Primal Rage. Nano is going to go on to Lukachu, who has to get to that duplicate, but it might not matter. Edgelord gets a triple kill with the Riptire. He'll get taken out, but I'm sure he's totally happy with that exchange.
Yeah, that's the trade you always want to make, and he's even going to get res with Tropics taking out Lucky Chu again. The Soldier 76 dominating the skies with Valkyrie now just coming online for Shadow. They also have their own tire, but now their man is going to swap over to the Lucio. Same with GNR now swapping over to the Rhine. And it seems Frozen might just give up this Primal Rage and go over to the Diva. This is not what you want to see. You want to get at least just use that Primal Rage. You do have a minute 30 remaining, so you could definitely get some value out of that. But with LaSalle having 6 ults coming online practically, Edgelord's going to farm it faster than anyone on his team, except for maybe Gedjo. So 5 ults, soon to be 6. Things are looking good for them. They even have the Immortality Field to counter the tires. Same with that Valkyrie coming out online for Fire Islands.
The tire does find Leopold, but best target by far, because now there will be no res, and Ant Matrix will go down. We'll see if Tropics there is going to pop the tack visor. It's all on Frozen Phoenix to eat it, but with no mech. Tropics will pop off with a double kill, plus a kill onto the duplicate. And now ET Fire Islands on to maybe their last couple fights here with 50 seconds left.
Yeah, you never want to push into an Amplification Matrix visor, no less, when he can just auto-aim shoot you, never miss. That is not what you want to see from Fire Alliance. They should have definitely just backed off, with Lucky Chu now swapping over to the Mei. So maybe this final little brawl comp with this Mercy still that I would not enjoy seeing, especially when you're so close to your own spawn. That res is not getting enough value to maintain it, especially you not having that Echo for that verticality play anymore. Definitely would prefer seeing any other healer at this point from Fire Islands. So LaSalle still dominating with Fire Islands, now going for the underneath strategy, opening up with that grab.
Nice Maywall there from Lukachu, at least cuts off a majority of the damage, but Tropics will pick up a double kill. Gagio's going to get one more, and it looks like the Fire Islands are just simply going to run out of time. A fantastic hold by LaSalle College High will get them their first victory on the night. A great turnaround from what happened to them on Control just a few moments ago against the Pink Panthers, and LaSalle College High on the back of really Gagio and Tropics come out victorious in this one. Well, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured Rumbles, recruiters are taking notice as well. It's a great way to score exposure. If looking to start your path to pro or to land a collegiate scholarship. With the group stage done, should be able to take a look at the standings here, see where we will be heading for our grand finals. The top two teams facing off in a more standard best-of-5 format. We saw every team at least once. Brenner, who were you most impressed by from the teams that we saw?
Definitely the comeback from LaSalle. They did not do well at all on control, but as soon as they got to that escort, they came alive. They dominated both sides on the attack and the defense, definitely on the defense more for sure, as they did lose that first fight on the attack. But as we take a look at these standings, Pink Panthers definitely being that #1 seed, I can agree with no matter what. Same with the Everest, as they're both currently undefeated, and I'm curious how that matchup is going to go between the two of them.
Will be Pink Panthers and Everest in our grand final. From what I've been told, Pink Panthers did go undefeated in the group play. Everest only dropping a game to the Pink Panthers, so that will be a fantastic showdown, as you alluded to, Brenner. LaSalle and Fire Islands finishing 3rd and 4th. We saw that match there on Dorado. Overall, though, for the Rumble, again, a lot of new faces in this Overwatch Rumble, getting back into it after a little of a break, I've been told by the Esports Tower. So definitely teams that might struggle at the start are going to get better and better, because the Esports Tower does a really good job of coaching these players up, getting them in top shape. Well, we'll take a little bit of a break. It's our first ever Esports Tower Rumble Grand Finals. It's the Pink Panthers and the ET Everest. Who's going to come out on top and claim the first championship? We'll find out all of that after this break. Welcome back to this broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble, our first ever Overwatch Rumble, broadcasting it live from the Boise State Gay Pants Esports Arena. It's time for our first ever grand finals. We have a pair of teams that we did not see lose in the group stage games that we had a chance to look at. Pink Panthers and Everest were both dominant on control. Was told that off screen the Everest and Panthers played, and the Panthers did win. So the Panthers are undefeated. The Everest are 3-1. We will see who will come out on top in a more traditional Overwatch setting, and by that I just mean, Brenner, that it is a best-of-5. A little bit of a different map order, though. It will be Control, Escort, Assault, Hybrid, and then, of course, back to Control. So we will be guaranteed to see Assault as we see how the group play ended up. Pink Panthers, Everest, LaSalle, and Fire Islands. We saw Pink Panthers and Everest once, Brenner. They both had pretty dominating wins. The Everest took a little bit longer to get going. So as we hop onto Control, that will be Ilios. Which one do you favor?
Most likely the Pink Panthers, as you mentioned, they are undefeated, and they had the much more dominating force in both the games that they played, even though we were not able to see one of them. I highly can put money on the fact that I bet they were just as dominant in that game. So going into best-of-5 format, you definitely have to worry about these are longer games rather than the best of ones that they have been playing, so that could be a bit more taxing on the players, especially going into Control and playing an Assault, which can be very snowbally. So on the attack, if they are attacking first on that Assault map in the map 3 that we are guaranteed to go to, I'm very curious to see how they will play that out.
Well, let's take a look at how the format for this tournament went here. Our first ever Overwatch Rumble happening every Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Round robin with one group, everybody playing a best of one against each other. Some Control, some Escort, and some Assault was played in that group play stage. We take a look at a couple of those games, and then the finals. The top two teams from the group play, the Pink Panthers and the Everest of the Esports Tower, will now play in our best of 5 finals. Again, once the more traditional Overwatch format. The best of ones do lead to some very interesting games, so we'll have to see who can come out on top. Again, we have not seen either of these teams lose on the stream. For maybe the final time of night, we can throw it over to Doc's Keys of the Game, as presented by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. And Overwatch, those are: understand your comp/play style, focus on every fight, get good alt value, and objectives greater than kills. Because at the end of the day, the team that wins is the team that pushes the objective farther, captures the objective first. All of that good things. Don't pad your KD stats. It's all brought to you by Esports Tower. Prove your game sense, prove your team play, prove your performance under pressure. You can match with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. We're ready for game number 1. Kick off our first ever Overwatch Rumble Grand Finals. Pink Panthers take it on the Everest. Pink Panthers exited the group stage with an undefeated record. As we mentioned, the Everest only lost was to the Pink Panthers in a game we did not see. These teams match up well against each other, expecting a close series, and we will throw it over to Ilios for our first ever Grand Finals here in the Esports Tower. And we have not seen Ilios yet today, Brenner, so your tips for these teams as they get ready to go.
It's all going to be about that center well. I expect to see multiple attempts at those environmental kills, as it will be a much quicker way at just burning down their health bars. So both teams are going to be playing around there. And then once you get onto point, you have to be able to take the opposite team's side, because if you just stay on yours the whole time, it's just going to be an endless brawl, and whoever caps it first is going to get to that 99% before anyone else. And already on the side of the blue, we're going to see that Sombra rushing onto point, and we're not going to see this team fight as it starts.
We're going to hop right into it. Diamond Dog looking to try and burn down members of the opposing team. Watch out for Gambler. He was clutch in the Pink Panthers control win. There's that environmental kill you talked about, though, Brenner. It's Pando picking one up onto Vladon. And now we'll see what Diamond Dog can do with the Pink Panthers losing their first main tank. That should open things up, but Diamond Dog taking a ton of damage. Gets taken out by Conspiracy. And the Pink Panthers looking to start things off. There's another environmental kill for Lyric, and that should start to set the tone for the Pink Panthers as they do lose Lyric, though. So it's a nice even back and forth trade to start off here. Conspiracy able to remech, and so far just a lot of trading, Brenner.
Yeah, as I mentioned, you have to be able to take the other team's side of this control point on well, because so many people just have to go around it. It takes so much longer, as this is one of the biggest control points in Overwatch, with Bladon able to pick up a two-piece. Pink Panthers finally able to secure, and now they're doing what they traditionally love to do, which is push the spawn the best they can, with Gambler picking up a three-piece for himself. But now Everest have two ults, both supports on their side, with Primal Rage closely falling behind. Pink Panthers already have Primal online, same with the Pulse Bomb and EMP, but with the hack going on to Lyric, he's going to get taken out by Panda, so being down to support, Everest has a perfect opportunity to just push for the point. They even have the ult advantage, they just have to get aggressive with it.
A lot of attention is going to be on Pando. He has to dodge Mapsy's EMP, and he does not. It will not be a sound barrier available, but they will have a coalescence from not Doomfist to be able to keep him alive. The sound barrier will go down as soon as it's available. They'll trade 1-for-1 in terms of the DPS, but now AME will go down. Pink Panthers with that nanoed Winston, about all the damage they're going to have with the Primal Rage going. As Lyric also going to be forced to use their sound barrier, but not going to get a whole lot of value, and will be immediately taken out. A wasted sound barrier there, and the Everest able to capitalize on it and sending the Pink Panthers back to spawn and flipping the point in their favor.
Yeah, I absolutely love that play by the Everest, as they were able to utilize the ults they have and have that player mentality to hold them back in anticipation for the Pink Panthers. Pink Panthers threw every ult that they had, and now opening up this next team fight with Coalescence, and immediately denied by the Death Blossom. Everest are coming alive in this game, definitely trying to make Pink Panthers no longer undefeated in this first game and having the ult advantage. I love how they got aggressive as soon as they had advantage. They were able to recognize that factor, and this is some of the plays we see in the Overwatch League of having that player recognition. We even saw in Doc's Keys that you have to play with your team's play style, and they have a more divey comp, so once they had that advantage, they would dove, and they succeeded.
And a great punish on the Conspiracy as well. We do see Despacito has the EMP up. Lyric is not going to have an answer. Really, there's no answer. There's going to be a Sombra v Sombra battle. There it is. Huge EMP onto 5 is going to land. And immediately Gambler and AME will fall. Conspiracy going to be forced out of the mech as well. Lyric will at least get a kill on the way out, but a huge EMP from Despacito sets up what should be a clean team fight win. It took a little bit longer to wrap it up, but Diamond Dog now retreating, and the Pink Panthers up above, or the Everest, excuse me, up above 70% on the point.
Yeah, things are looking good for that, but he has to pop that Primal Rage in order to not fall in the wall, as that leap was just barely timed off. He's going to go straight in on this Moira with the Coalescence to try to get her knocked off with the least value possible. Having that Reaper, he is the definition of anti-Winston, as takes him out as quickly as possible. With these Sombra plays, these are definitely the players you want to keep your eyes on, as they have been the key for both teams with these EMPs and hacks. Falling to 10 health, able to get out just in time, and now we're almost to a mirror match, except for this Winston now swapping over to the Wrecking Ball. See if it will make the difference, as Pink Panthers are finally able to re-secure the point.
Never felt like a clean fight win. It just felt like the Everest had bailed off the point. A great EMP bomb combo is going to eliminate not Doomfist. Give the Pink Panthers a nice little advantage there off the back of 2 ultimates. Hub going to be demech. We'll see if there can be a punish from the Pink Panthers, at least a stall out. So AME sets up there, looking for some Death Blossom value, but we're going to wait for a reset. We're almost in final fight territory here on our first map, brother.
Yeah, time is closing down, and it is not in the Everett's favor as they only have 3 ults online, with EMP needing a 15% more charge in order to have it online, with Pink Panthers not having any ult close, but they do have both supports and that Death Blossom opening up immediately onto Pando, so taking away that sound barrier, with Bonesaw trying to do his own Death Blossom in the back lane, not able to pick up anyone. So in this Reaper 1v1, he is able to win it with Hub using that self-destruct to take out that Wrecking Ball. But now it's Gambler with this Coalescence able to take out Despacito. And it seems Pink Panthers lost 2 members, but are able to quickly bring it back against the Everetts, as now they are in full stall.
Pando tried to get that sound barrier up. I believe he got hacked mid-animation and canceled the shield. We see a near environmental kill there, but Lyric able to save it. Final fight here for the Everest, trying to hold on with Pando and Despacito taken out. Doomfist not able to get to the point in time. Pink Panthers will claim a very, very close map number 1 on Ilios.
Yeah, that is by far the closest control map we have seen tonight in this Esports Tower Rumble. So heading into this next map, I would hope to see the exact same thing. Pink Panthers definitely proving why they are the undefeated team, but still showing why the Everetts are the 2nd seed. They put up a fight, they were able to take the point back, and they got up to around 80%. So good on them for that first attempt. So heading into round 2 of this control map, I hope to see, if not an exact repeat, but hopefully the Everetts are able to come out on top this time around.
Both these teams with similar backlines. When the Esports Tower took a bit of a break from Overwatch, the Pink Panthers stayed together and continued to compete as a team, while the Everest continued to play together but did not have a lot of competition experience during that time. So very curious to see if the tournament experience the Pink Panthers were able to garner will make a difference. It was incredibly close on map number 1. Map 2, though, the Pink Panthers are on the Everest side of the map. They're going to force out an immortality field there from not Doomfist, but it's Pando who gets the first elimination onto their support brother. It's Gambler Lyric also taken out. You can see the Pink Panthers health bars incredibly low. They're going to try and at least get the point to get some free percentage, but Bladon, excuse me, is going to have to get away. That's going to be another team fight win to start off for the Everest.
Everett's played fantastically. Pink Panthers went for the invade essentially and weren't able to out-sustain the Everetts, having that Brig and BAP compared to the Lucio and Moira. They just have the better healing potential. They can brawl much longer, and especially with that Torp, having that turret be the extra damage that you need. And even having that right-click shotgun is what you want to see for a more fighty brawl comp on this map, as so much team fighting is going to take place just outside of the control point, opening up with that amplification matrix from the side of the Everest.
Bonesaw getting a ton of damage, and we're going to see the Ant Matrix and the rally from Pando, getting a couple of boops off the edge, and the Everest almost win map 1, and so far look like to be in total control, already pushing above 40%, probably going to get up to 50% before our next fight breaks out.
Yeah, Pink Panthers not having a good ult charge, with EMP very close. Primal Rage, not really there yet. Same with Self-Destruct, so Pink Panthers are not looking good. They might get the Death Blossom during the fight, but the Everest already have 3 ults going into this fight, with Bongo close behind. So this has definitely been the Everett's map.
There's an EMP from Mapsy. That's huge. It's going to land onto 4. They'll get an additional hack to make it 5. Comboed in with the Death Blaster from AME, and the EMP Blossom combo immediately flipped the script. It's a team kill for the Pink Panthers, and they are back in control just in time at 73%.
Yeah, so heading into this next fight, they have both tank ults in order to try to hold off from the push on the point, but with that Molten Core and other 3 ults from the side of the Everests, it is definitely going to be an interesting fight on how the Pink Panthers are going to counter this, as they don't have any support ults online unless Lyric on this Zenyatta is able to farm that Transcendence as fast as possible. And with Brandon opening up with this Primal Rage right on the other side, this team fight is kicking off.
Lose Despacito, so it will be a 5-on-5 conspiracy. Going to be forced to use the Diva Bomb to just get a mech reset, but we'll get a kill onto Hub at the same time. That is a huge trade, though Hub's mech on looking for the reset will take out Conspiracy. And in the end, though, the Pink Panthers win that fight despite losing their main tank really early on.
Yeah, that Primal Rage did get the little value they needed, but now he can swap over to that Wrecking Ball. But with Pink Panthers definitely going with that more high dive comp to just jump in on the Everests and try to cause as much chaos as possible like they did in the beginning of the game, but hopefully with some more success as they are building percentage on this point. But with the Everests having high ground, they're going up to contestant, and already Lyric is going to open up with an elimination onto Panda.
And Matrix down from Gambler. We get a bit of a 1v1 on the side. AME is going to eliminate Bonesaw. And the Everest probably just going to reset here. 75% inclining. They've got maybe one last chance here, Brenner, before they lose this map and go down 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, we will definitely have to wait and see with ults coming into the favor of the Everests right now, and they just have to use them. This is the point where you have to get aggressive once you regroup, but being down a tank is not what you want to see. You do not have time for this. Unless they are able to get an early pick here like that Baptiste, this is your moment to shine. But the EMP shuts down the Wombo combo.
Transcendence from Lyric just going to keep his whole team alive. Last chance here for the Everest. We are going to get a supercharger out from Diamond Dog trying to help his team do some extra damage. Molten Core from Bonesaw will eliminate Lyric, but he will be taken out as well. Oh, Blade on nearly falls off the edge. Great recovery there. Back and forth final fight though. Blade on seeing that not Doomfist off on the side all by himself, going to try and jump right on top of him. Point does get flipped though in the Everest's favor. I don't think Blade on realizes that he was going to have to roll away and try and heal up for his own team's last fight.
Yeah, he will have Mines able to hopefully open up the fight with it as Gambler swaps over to the on and out as they need that longer sustain as both teams are nearing the very end. This is most likely going to be the final team fight as he is taken out by Despacito on the rotation trying to get back to his team.
It'll be up to Conspiracy here to lead the front line for the team. Going to have to get on the point just in the nick of time. They'll keep overtime going so far. Conspiracy does have the Diva Mech. Got to get it off on point. Sneaks it in through the top door. Unfortunately, it's not going to get a kill if you are a fan of the Pink Panthers. Lyric, though, will pick up the first one onto Despacito. We see Blade on back in the fight, getting a minefield kill. It was a little crazy there at the end, but AME is going to pick up a double kill. That should secure things here for the Pink Panthers as Diamond Dog cannot hold on. And once again, our control map goes back and forth. The Pink Panthers will flip it, and they will win in overtime, but that could not have been much closer.
Yeah, the Everests definitely had that sustain you want to see on point, but it seems Pink Panther with the constant just attack, pull out, worked out for them. They were able to take point. They took space, so whenever it's tried to regroup on that high ground, they were constantly being contested and losing 1 to 2 members on the rotation. They were not covering their supply lines.
We will hop into our next map whenever we are ready. It is Pink Panthers and Everest grand finals of our first ever Esports Tower Overwatch Rumble. Fisher Breder here called all of the action. Pink Panthers with a very close win on Control. I think it was like 197 and 199. So we'll see how Escort is going to go. I've been told that it will be Havana, which is a very unique Escort map in the sense that that third point, Brenner, can be almost impossible to capture unless you are fully snowballing. So I would be very shocked if we get a 3-3 push. It's probably going to be whoever gets the furthest to that third point, because that third point is almost impossible even for professional teams to capture because it is so well designed to defend with quite ease.
Yeah, I really am excited to see how the Pink Panthers play this. As we've seen in all of their prior games, they love pushing up into your spawn, which is exactly what you want to see for Havana with how big of a map it is. It is the longest Escort map that Overwatch has, I believe. So going into it with a 3 checkpoint is going to be fantastic to see for both teams, and it's definitely going to test the Everett sustainability that they have just been so key on. And already we're going to see a possible wrecking ball from one of the sides of the teams, as both teams have been playing a very strong Winston game.
Very curious to see, especially on Havana. We talk about the third point. It's also these close holds that you can do defensively. Again, we talked about the Pink Panthers staying together as a team during the Overwatch Esports Tower break. I was told that they competed in the High School Esports League, did the Pink Panthers, and ended up winning the ladder there. So this is a very talented Pink Panthers team who has a lot of competitive experience. The Everest did not compete in as many tournaments during that break. Not to say that's the reason why they're losing control by just 1 or 2%. As Despacito gets a great pick onto AME. A huge anti-nade does come out, but it's a great trade there for that immortality field from Not Doomfist. Conspiracy trying to build that primal rage incredibly quickly, gets frozen before they can get back into spawn. And that is a great early start to the close hold, but they will lose hub. I think the Everest should be able to hold on here with these health bars, as right now the Pink Panthers can't even get out of their own spawn.
Yeah, the Everetts are pulling their own Pink Panther strategy, trying to hold them at the door, as even Panda was able to eliminate AME on the sniper as a Lucio, no less. The Despacito trying to hold the point the best he can with Brandon taking out Not Doomfist, same with Bonesaw taking out Conspiracy. They're trading fantastically on both sides with Gambler using the anti-nade to take out the Lucio. Now Lyric and Mabsy taking out 3. It seems Pink Panthers are finally able to leave the spawn once they got ult percentage. Conspiracy able to build that Primal Rage faster than most Winstons. And now having 3 ults on their side, now with AME swapping over to the Doomfist from the Widow as he was not going to be able to use that Widow long shot. Everett's have to regroup at spawn as Pink Panthers finally pushing the cart. Only using 1 member though, so not trying to get it pushed as speedy as possible, opening up this next team fight with the mines.
Blade on nearly dodges being caught on the wrong side of that Maywall with that Wrecking Ball mobility. He's going to go back, steal a health pot. And right now looking nice and healthy. Now going to look for the flank onto the rest of the Everetts. We do see Conspiracy has popped that Primal Rage, but Gambler going to be taken out, but it's an early 1-for-1 trade as Despacito will go down as well. Immortality Field had been used by Doofus. We got a Shatter only landing onto the Wrecking Ball for Diamond Dog and a Sound Barrier Blizzard combo. Looking to push back the remaining members of the Pink Panthers as AME will go down, but unfortunately they cannot pick up a solid trade. As Hub gets taken out, the Pulse Bomb does land on the Diamond Dog with that huge Reinhardt health bar. Will be able to survive. Pando now going down, and now the Everett's without their main healer going to have to be forced to retreat. They'll lose 3 more in the process. Not Doomfist, the only one left on the point, and the Pink Panthers will end up pushing and unlocking our second checkpoint.
Yeah, we're even going to see Bonesaw swap over to the Torb for this indoors part of the map. Now much tighter with a lot more brawling coming out from the side of Pink Panthers, going straight for the ult charge. AME on this Doomfist up to 90. Conspiracy's already at 80 for his second Primal Rage. Same with Blade on at 85 for his second set of mines, with Gambler having that nano charge. Conspiracy only at 200, gonna get all of the healing from his 2 medics as they're getting ready to push this next team fight. Everett's only having the 3 ults for this fight, immediately gonna pop the Deadeye and pick up 1.
Deadeye will get 1. Bonesaw did pick up a couple, but once again, the story of this has been that the Everest get the first kill. The Pink Panthers wrap things up, though. It's a double kill from Vladon, and it looks like the Pink Panthers will continue to push. Pando, the last one there, contested the payload, and unfortunately for the Everest, they start to win team fights, but they just can't seal the deal, Brenner, and they always get traded out, and that's how the Pink Panthers have come out on top.
Yeah, Pink Panthers also come out on top because they committed 4 ults to that fight to the Everest's 1. They only used that Deadeye, with now Pando swapping over to the Brig, trying to get a little bit more brawl now, all pushing in through that left door with everything they have. AME's going to try to have a field day here in Doofus in a tight hallway.
Ooh, Diamond Dog barely misses the charge. Transcendence does come out from Lyric, but they're already down 2. But as we talk about, now Bonesaw goes down. It's already back to a 5-on-5. The Shatter only able to land on the Lyric. Pando and Lyric both going to be traded out, but Despacito barely hanging on. But a nice couple of kills on to AME, and Lyric do have the Everest with a slight numbers advantage, and they look like they forced a reset here from the Pink Panthers for the first time.
Yeah, Everett's played that fantastically on this final hold of checkpoint 2. With 2 minutes on the clock for Pink Panthers, they do have that Meteor Strike on bar, so we'll have to wait and see how they are going to be able to utilize that in this upcoming team fight, with Bladen charging those mines so fast. These tanks on Pink Panthers have been uncontested so consistently, with Mapsy using his Pulse Bomb.
AME doesn't even need the Meteor Strike, doing a absolutely terrifying job on the back line for the Everest. They'll wrap things up there. They'll get the second point. 3 minutes on the clock to try and 3-cap, something that is very hard to do on Havana. Have the Molten Core and the Deadeye up for both Everest DPS, so that should make it a little bit easier. As AME and company are just going to wait to see where they want to attack from, or if they'll just hang out on the other side of the bridge. AME's going to go in, not quite land inside the castle though.
Yeah, we're also going to see Mapsy swap over to the Hanzo for this final point, trying to get as much damage with that Sonic Arrow down that main line where the cart comes. And we're going to see a great flash bang, ban the hammer kill like the old days of Overwatch with Despacito onto AME. He's going to pick up a second onto Bladon, but now with many ultimates coming out from both supports, seems Everett's are going to win this team fight.
With the rally and the Ant Matrix. Ooh, Despacito in a great line of sight to try and take out AME, but a Transcendence from Lyric is going to keep everybody alive and continue to push things back. There's a Deadeye that will come out. It'll find one kill onto Lyric, but that is about it. The respawns for the Everest will be soon enough that I don't think the Pink Panthers can win off of this, but they're going to get incredibly close with a great Primal Raise there from Conspiracy. AME going to get a nice headshot onto Bonesaw, and unfortunately the Everest just cannot stay alive out of spawn for one last contest as this payload's racing towards the final checkpoint. Minefield going to shut down the one entrance. There's absolutely no way to get out. A Shatter is going to be forced to be used. Diamond Dog has to charge in, lands the pin, but Anti to 37 HP. He is not long for this world. Hub trying to contest the payload right in front of it, ends up getting spotted out there. And you can see, despite the constant trades, Pink Panthers continue to come out on top. They're going to jump right onto Hub, is going to get Anti, cannot fly away, will get D-Meg. But Diamond Dog on this Wrecking Ball should be back in time to potentially stop the push. And it looks like there'll be a little bit of a reset there. We do hear the Dragon Strike go off. Do not see where it ended up coming through. Now it'll rip through the team. Gets a kill onto Bonesaw, and that should be enough for the Pink Panthers to win this map. Diamond Dog looking for one last play, but he's not able to make it.
Yeah, Pink Panthers, once they get close to your spawn, come alive and get all of the eliminations possible. Their two tank players have been the stars of their team, getting ult after ult after ult. It seems like they just have 4 DPS on their team at this point, just with more health. So good on the Pink Panthers having a solid attack, having that Lyric on that Zen on the cart the whole time, even being a second sniper at that point with Mapsy on the Hanzo. Everett's also played fantastically on the defense. They won a couple team fights on that second control point. They held it the best they could. Their Ryan getting multiple great shatters onto even 1 or 2 members, but immediately able to eliminate them with his abilities. So it seems the tank players of both these teams are the ones you want to keep an eye on.
We will see. Tank players, the Pink Panthers, can contribute to a second straight win and put them on match point, or if the Everest tank players can get it done, because it is going to be a very tough task to 3-push on Havana just to force overtime here. And I think it really is going to start with how effective a close hold the Pink Panthers can get. We saw the Everest stall out about a minute on the clock, so you're probably looking for like about a 2.5 minute stall if you're the Pink Panthers, if you really want to set yourselves up to win on the first point.
Yeah, Pink Panthers with that opening Symmetra May was definitely the stall you want to see, and it looks like the Everetts are going to go for their very own possible, but it looks like they might even go Pirate Ship as well, with now having the Bastion immediately getting right out of spawn, doing as much damage as they can.
They are going to get a fantastic freeze onto Bonesaw and the rest of the shields, and it is going to take out that Bastion, but otherwise the Pink Panthers have lost 2 members to something they've done so well. Even though they lose the first member, they come alive as Gambler's going to pick up a double kill with another elimination onto Diamond Dog. It looks like they're going to force a bit of a reset, especially killing that Bastion. Cryo freeze from Mapsy, going to be allowing that May to heal back to full health, trying to get the Blizzard, but will get burned down. It's a 1-for-1 trade, Mapsy for Bonesaw, but it looks like the Everest have started to move away from their spawn, so this close hold not even lasting 45 seconds for the Pink Panthers before they're forced to be reset.
Yeah, the Everest's definitely proving that they are better on the defense than as well as the offense so far, as the Pink Panthers are going to have to back off better on the attack as they're getting multiple members taken out. Pink Panthers try to win for a second attack through the building thing, but got simply taken out on the rotation as their tanks did not do the best. These tank players are the key, with even that amplification matrix coming out from not Doomfist, but Pink Panthers now having 5 ults come online for this next upcoming team fight. Things are not looking good for the Everetts, and they are not taking space like they should. They need to be up in that top room right above Cart so that they're able to defend it the best they can. Even though you're attacking, you still need to have a good defense. So with Pink Panthers coming into this team fight, they're opening up with every ult they have.
Deadeye's going to get one comboed with that Gravitic Flux. AME will pick up a triple kill for himself. 3 ults used, 3 kills. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. And the Pink Panthers will finally win a fight with 2 minutes on the clock. How to win a couple more of those if they want to win this map.
Yeah, they're even going to stall out the Baby Diva, as is tradition at this point, and there's nowhere, hey, she can just suicide for an environmental elimination, but finally she's going to get charged out. So now, not having their second tank, the Everetts are going to have to go back and regroup. So Pink Panthers may not be able to stall at spawn, but they're going to open up with the Shatter, not land on any members. They're buying a ton of time with now at a minute 40, have yet to even reach checkpoint 1.
I think the halt there might have stopped the Shatter from Vlad on there. That was a pretty impressive play by Diamond Dog on the Orisa. Despacito going to open up with one elimination. Blizzard will be used there, but into a sound barrier. Great job there by Pando, but he will get frozen along with the rest of his team. But a nice immortality field from not Doomfist will keep the Everest alive. They will just lose the one member, but some fantastic support play should allow them to win this fight. You see 2 DPS already down for the Pink Panthers, and this should be enough, you would think, for the payload to be able to push. Turret throw for Bonesaw, not quite able to land where he wanted to. He's got a Molten Core if he wants to wrap up this team fight, but it looks like Pink Panthers going to try for a last-second contest. Molten Core is going to come out from Bonesaw in the final 60 seconds here, and Ant Matrix going to be used by Gambler to try and help his team's damage, but the Molten Core damage is simply too much, even with Lyric popping the sound barrier, which is way too late with 2 members already dead. We'll get a time extension here, and the Everest will keep pushing along.
Yeah, Everest has used all of their ults for just the first checkpoint, definitely going a hair slower than the Pink Panthers as they swap up that team comp now with the Roadhog, Ashe, Tracer, Zen, and now even losing that 25 ult percentage on the map over to the Ana. It seems Conspiracy on the Sig is the only one who's going to stick around, and he's going to have Gratific Flux for this next fight, whereas the Everetts are only going to swap over to the Rhine and Brig, it seems. Going to stick with a more brawly comp. Same with the Pink Panthers, just a different with no shields other than that Sig, and opening up with that Gratific Flux, as I mentioned.
Gratific Flux going to allow Mapsy to pick up a kill onto Bonesaw. Pando will be the next one to fall, and unfortunately for the Everest, without any supports, I don't think anyone else is long for this world. A nice double anti will land, but there's no healing left. And they will force a reset here, see if they maybe try and stall up this Baby Diva one more time. It looks like they will. And now they'll take out Hub, and unfortunately the Everest walked right into that Gravitic Flux, as you mentioned.
Yeah, now it is Pink Panther's comfort zone of running into the enemy spawn and never let them leave, especially with the Roadhog, who can just heal half his health. And with both Lyric and Gambler behind him, I doubt he will ever fall at this point, getting a great hook and melee onto Despacito, losing that DPS who did even have his ult. They're definitely going to have to go to the reset. Pink Panthers buying so much time for themselves.
Trying to charge up an ult on the Pink Panther side. You can see a couple members up above 90%. Meanwhile, the Everest do have 3 online, but Diamond Dog will immediately fall. So will Despacito. You got to think if you're the Everest here, you've got to look for a reset before you lose any more members. You're starting to run out of time, too. Transcendence there from Lyric. Got to wonder what damage he's trying to heal up. There's a wasted ult there. Might be an opening. Whole Hog is going to come out from Blade On. And that's just going to hold the Everest in their spawn as the Pink Panthers look to kill 60 more seconds on the clock.
Yeah, these tank players are holding them back and charging ult after ult after ult, and now Everest still having the 4 ults. Bonesaw's going to get hooked out of the sky as he's jumping down. Does not get eliminated thanks to the Molten Core of his E ability, but now that on cooldown, Despacito is going to get a great shot onto Mapsy, eliminating the possibility of a charged Pulsum coming out, but we're going to see AME throwing out the Bob. Say with Gambler, using that Nano, trying to buy as much time as he can, but now Conspiracy with the Gratific Flux. Pink Panthers are going to go out full stall.
Pink Panthers, instead of holding for one last fight, just kind of using ults as they come up, and it appears to be working out for them. Final 20 seconds for the Everest to keep pushing and keep this alive on Havana. Vladon able to get a nice heal up there. Huge Dragon Strike from Despacito is probably what the Everest will need to keep pushing. Vladon's going to get decent of a heal. There is that Dragon Strike. There's only a Diva self-destruct. There's a nice pulse ball pickup on a Diamond Dog, and Pando going down as well means without a main tank and your main healer, the Everests are going to have a very hard time trying to keep this game alive in overtime. It's all up to Hub. Has the self-destruct. How much value can they get? Unfortunately, the answer is none, and they will get headshot before they get the remake off. That should prevent overtime from continuing, and it will. The Pink Panthers will win map 2 and put themselves on match point.
Pink Panthers having a very close fight with the Everetts, but still just edging them out multiple times as Everetts just get collapsed on at their own spawn and never truly able to bring it back. That D.Va got stalled out one too many times, and Pink Panthers just constantly having that time advantage.
How do you feel about Temple of Anubis Assault, and how can the Everest get back in this series and get us to a Game 4?
Temple of Anubis is definitely by far the best assault map in the genre, as it allows for the most variety of attacking and defending compared to the other ones. It is definitely the far favorite of all of the leagues that we have ever seen. And so ending with Assault is definitely the hard push that we've seen.
Potentially.
It is the best of potentially. And so I would love to see a hybrid map as well. I personally really do enjoy having hybrid second and then ending with escort on third, so that way you have control, hybrid, and then so on and so forth. It's a much fluid rather than control point, push cart, control point again. And especially with Assault, with how Pink Panthers have been so snowballing, once they win the team fight, they're going to keep you in their spawn. And so having that be on Assault, I definitely seeing this being a possible one-sided, but the Everest have also pushed and have a solid fight. So once they win that fight, they are able to take space and hold it. They just don't take as much space as they should. And on an Assault, you need to get aggressive, and we don't want to see them push the same left hallway, because so many times you can just push right underneath the bridge if you have that shielding. So once again, it is going to come down to those amazing tank players. And as we're seeing on the defense, they're going to go for the pharmacy strat.
Interesting choice here by the Pink Panthers. Usually you'll see the team that lost the map pick the next map, and then the other team who won gets to pick what side they go from. So interesting that the Pink Panthers would choose to attack first. Usually you want to defend first, but maybe they just want to put a bunch of pressure on the Everest. We will have to see as that Bastion gets teleported up to the high ground. AME trying to rain down damage from above. He will do that actually from more above him as Bonesaw gets taken out. So does not Doomfist. Pando going to look for a res. Actually gets the Battle Mercy kill onto Bladon, interesting enough. And AME looking to get some more high ground there. You know, he doesn't
need it. He doesn't need it. His team got it for him.
he's like, guys, I'm a little too tiny. Please help.
He just needs like another inch of height from that jump.
Gotta go tank form and blast yourself upwards. But as you said, the Pink Panthers will not need their Bastion this time around. He will not have to deal with that pesky ledge as the Pink Panthers with almost 6 minutes on the clock. They unlock that second point. We'll see how quickly. This is the hard part out of Assault. They're going to teleport right on top. A great anti from Not Doomfist, though, immediately puts Mapsy in a very awkward spot. Despacito, though, and Not Doomfist will get burned down, but the respawn's so close, meaning the Pink Panthers aren't going to get any value from this. The point's still contested despite the absolute pop-off from AME on that Bastion. They'll finally get one tick, looking for a second. Can they get a third and a clean start here on Assault? The answer does appear to be yes, actually. A fantastic use of that Symmetric Teleporter puts AME in a spot he never took a point of damage from.
Yeah, he didn't even have time to use that tank for him, as Pink Panthers definitely not being the snowball that is Assault, proving why they are the undefeated team in this entire Rumble tournament. So now it is all down to the Everetts, as they have almost 6 minutes compared to try to beat with Pink Panthers. So timing is not on their side. And if Pink Panthers get aggressive as they are on attack, I do not see things ending well for them. But there is always overtime and the defense, with possibly the factor of fatigue, as these teams have played so many games today. Even if they were best of ones, still got that in between of highs and lows, so that could be setting in for the players. But on this attack for the Everetts, it's all going to come down to the tanks. Are they going to go for the underneath strat or follow up with the Panthers' very own Symmetra Bastion Teleporter up top? The unconventional is always what you want to see, and it looks like on the defense, the Everetts are going to go with that Echo.
Echo, a Genji. They do have the Ana this time, so they will have a defensive Nano Blade, which could be a very interesting thing to deal with.
Pink Panthers love their aggressive plays.
They do. They like to get aggressive. They like to get right in your spawn. And we'll see the Everest, as you mentioned, have a very tough bargain to reach up. They have to 2-cap in time. Really, the Pink Panthers had no issue with it, so overtime would expect to favor the Pink Panthers no matter what, unless they run through. But nobody was ready for Blandon on that Roadhog. He is just going to hook Diamond Dog away from the rest of your team. And without the Reinhardt, the other 4 members will immediately go down. The tanks for the Everest got caught playing cat and mouse with Bladon.
Yeah, it's all about the tank players, and as soon as you leave your team as the Reinhardt, it's fine if D.Va leaves, but as the Reinhardt and your entire backline dies, that is on you. So already we're going to see the possible swap to Orisa, but goes back to the D.Va, so it's just giving up ult percentage for Chum is fun. So it's not what you want to see, and Pink Panthers doing what they do best, pushing your spawn and killing you on rotation, as Conspiracy, though, is able to take out Pando, but Despacito's coming back and taking out Brandon.
The problem for all of this is they're taking out members of the Pink Panthers in their own spawn. You can see the low health bars for the Everest. And Bladon now going to go to that Wrecking Ball, so he will get back to the point with plenty of time. Everest going to try and sneak around the long way, but they're already taking a ton of spam damage. The Genji is there, but AME has the blade, but there's no nano up for Gambler, who had been hiding in that back line. We'll see what the rest of them can do. Immediately, Despacito taken out. It's a 5-on-5. Mapsy going to use that Duke plate onto Doomfist, but immediately it will be taken out. But unfortunately, the Everest are down another member, and all they get is the duplicate in exchange. Gambler now close to that nano, but it looks like AME can probably hold on to that nano blade. Diamond Dog looking for a solo pick, but on the point all alone. And we've talked about this. When your team doesn't have a Reinhardt, they are not going to be long for this world. Diamond Dog slept on the point, taken out, and the Everest going to have to reset with 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, it's on the Everest to try to contest this high ground once they get to the point, because with only Orion and D.Va, she can only do so much on her own. She is not a DPS, and she will simply get stalled out. But now Doomfist even getting the pick onto Mapsy. It is time to push, Everest. They're down a DPS with no Mercy Res. They do have the 4 ults opening up this next team fight with the Nano.
Nano's going to go on to AME. He'll pop the blade a little bit late, and the Great Immortality Field is going to keep the whole team alive through that Nano blade, but unfortunately with everyone focusing down on the Genji, Panda will be the first one eliminated. They're forced to use that Transcendence, but it's not enough to keep Gambler alive. But unfortunately, the Everest now out of defensive ults are going to be once again forced to reset here, and now they're down to 60 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, these tank plays are not what you want to see from the side of Everest. You need more verticality, so I'm very happy to see Bonesaw on this Echo. Same with Pando on this Mercy, but Despacito on this Widow is not what you want to see, as you need some damage on the ground with a great rock coming out, killing Chum's Fum as the Baby D.Va. So you're already down a tank with only 45 seconds remaining. Seems like this might be it for the Everests.
Final chance here to try and extend this map. Pando goes down, but they trade it out 1-for-1 with AME, but Bonesaw will immediately fall right after. Conspiracy does have that Gravitic Flux, but not going to be able to get it off in time, but unfortunately, it's still a numbers advantage and a high ground advantage for the Pink Panthers, as we see there a retreat from Despacito. Last attempt here, they're probably going to have to force right on top of the point if they can even get there. Waiting for that Winston to come alive. Chum is Fum does have the D.Va bomb, but a minefield will come down right on top of them. Mapsy's going to duplicate onto the D.Va. Chum is Fum realizing they have to get to the point. They're racing there, but simply no one's going to get there. Overtime ticking down. A great boop denies it. A double D.Va bomb from Mapsy on the duplicate. And the Pink Panthers will hold the Everest off the point. They will pick up the win, and they will be crowned our first ever Esports Tower Rumble Overwatch champions.
Pink Panthers definitely proving why they're the undefeated champ of this tournament, as well as they just had amazing team play. Their tank, every player had their moment in this matchup. Gambler constantly with the nanos on the Ana, with Lyric with that Zenyatta constantly getting picks, being that third DPS that they needed. Both tanks just having a field day with the enemy team. Pink Panthers, a solid team that I could easily see continuing on.
Well, as we prepare to wrap this one up, it's been a fantastic first Overwatch Rumble. We do have our accolades to give away, Brenner. We'll start with the ICCU Player of the Week for the Esports Tower Overwatch Rumble. And I mean, several great choices, especially on the Pink Panthers side. But at the end, who do you think you're going to give it to?
Either Lyric or Blandon personally. They were both the consistent members of that team to get, least deaths, highest DPS, even as tanks and healers. That's what you love to see. And it's hard not to focus on the Pink Panthers as they are the winner, so that's definitely who you want to focus on. So between those two.
Yeah, I thought Gambler played spectacularly on us. So we will have to see who the ICCU player of the game is going to be. A lot of deserving choices here. The Pink Panthers are doing a fantastic job. And really, anyone on that team in particular, I thought had a map or at least one round or one team fight, Brenner, where they all popped off. So all very deserving players. Going to be curious to see who ends up getting it done. But I thought the Everest had some small bright spots, especially on control. They kept it in a game. I mean, I thought this series was going to be a lot closer based on control. So you work on those escort and those assault maps. Of course, we didn't get to see hybrid. We could have maybe go back to control. But I thought the Everest at the start were very, very close. Just got a little bit of work to do on the other maps outside of control.
Yeah, because as we mentioned, they did have the consistent play, but not so much the consistent comp play. And it looks like the player of the game is going to go over to AME, the very consistent DPS player for LaSalle, or Pink Panthers.
Yeah, for the Pink Panthers here. Did have a bit of a mix-up there, but yeah, that is AME of the Pink Panthers. Yeah, you're right. Very consistent on the Tracer. Had some fantastic Bastion play on Assault on Temple of Anubis in the Grand Finals. And just overall, a spectacular play by AME, really activating the rest of the Pink Panthers. But as you mentioned, Gambler, Bladon, all very spectacular as well. But the player of the game brought to us by Idaho Central Credit Union for this week is AME. ICCU believes a great player makes the team more successful, just like they're helping members achieve financial success. It is AME of the Pink Panthers who is your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Overall, congratulations to the Pink Panthers, our first ever champion here. Be very curious, as we said, already generating more and more interest in this Rumble, how the Pink Panthers will do as more and more teams get in, because we talked about this is a team that had won the high school esports league ladder when they took a break from the esports tower. So this team has a lot of practice. I'm curious to see if we get another high school, maybe another esports tower team, if we give the Everest a week of coaching, who's going to be able to challenge them next week.
Yeah, I hope to see who it is, or if they're able to step up to the plate and now win a couple maps against the Pink Panthers. I could definitely see these two teams having a consistent feud in the esports tower as they have been the top two.
Well, we will wrap this up with a big congratulations to the Pink Panthers on taking home the first ever Esports Tower Overwatch Rumble Championship. They looked incredibly strong throughout this event. They've been together for a long time. Use that experience and skill to take home this week's event championship. The Everest, though, the Esports Tower gave it their best, looked very strong, especially on control. Going to be excited to see how that team continues to improve in the weeks ahead. Congratulations to all these teams that participated this week. We'll be back in 2 weeks on Tuesday night with more Esports Tower Overwatch action, so make sure to tune back in. But for now, we will close out with the top 5 plays presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams out there. Reach out on Twitch at iGuard Gaming, and here are your first ever Overwatch Rumble top 5 plays of the week.
Instantly right in with the Primal Rage.
Oh, Diamond Dog almost gets booped off. Does look like Doomfist going to save that nano for Bonesaw's blade. Might not even need it, though. Immortality has to be used by Shadow Soul. It's not going to keep the team alive, though. 4 go down. It's going to be another team kill for the Everest, and they are in complete control. The best target by far, because now there will be no res, and Ant Matrix will go down. We'll see if Tropic there is going to pop the tack visor. It's all on Frozen Phoenix to eat it, but with no mech. Tropics will pop off with a double kill, plus a kill onto the duplicate. And now ET Fire Islands on to maybe their last couple fights. Right back to 100. Leopold will get the res, though, onto Little Applesauce. And unfortunately, a grab's going to come out from Geo, but it's not going to be enough. A fantastic Blizzard, but a triple Dragon Strike from Edgelord is going to even this at 3 kills aside. And the respawn advantage should favor LaSalle pushing. It's not going to have an answer. Really, there's no answer. There's going to be a Sombra v Sombra battle. There it is. Huge EMP onto 5 is going to land. And immediately Gambler and AME will fall. Conspiracy going to be forced out of the mech as well. Lyric will at least get a kill on the way out, but a huge EMP from Despacito sets up what should be a clean team fight. Right on top, a great anti from Not Doomfist, though, immediately puts Mapsy in a very awkward spot. Despacito, though, and Not Doomfist will get burned down, but the respawn's so close, meaning the Pink Panthers aren't going to get any value from this. The point still contested despite the absolute pop-off from AME on that Bastion. They'll find